Hello and welcome to EDUC 407. This is Technology and Digital Literacy for the Spring 1 2022 term. I'm going to talk about this course and talk about what you need to do for this first week as we get started with this class. First off, who am I? My name is David Gago. I'll be your professor. This is my first year here at Laverne, but I do have 22 years in education. I am a high school math teacher at Golden Valley High School here in Bakersfield. I'm also a subject matter facilitator for the Kern High School District for mathematics, and I do have a master's in educational technology while I'm still working on my doctorate. So that's a little bit about me. I do use a lot of technology, so it is my hope that you guys learn a lot about technology in this class for education, and you might even know something that I don't, and I'm looking forward to learning from all of you. So for our first week of class, I will show you how the class will be structured. We'll talk a little bit about SAMR and ISTE standards, but we'll be focusing on a lot of that in the next couple weeks, and what you need to do for this week. Okay, this week is a pretty easy week getting started, but as the weeks go on, you want to make sure you stay on top of everything. So how is this course structured? So I will communicate with you guys. I usually give you an announcement on Blackboard, and I will also send you an email. It will have a video that you can watch to kind of get you an idea of what you have to do for the week. You can always communicate with me using Slack, and that's going to be one thing that we're going to use as a communication tool throughout this class. You will always be able to email me, and that's not a problem. I get my emails on my phone, I get Slack on the phone, and then we will plan right now on having our Zoom meetings for our class Thursdays at 5 p.m. Some weeks we may not have it, but a lot of times I will be available to help out anybody that needs it, at least starting at 5, and I'll stay on as long as whatever help we need. My goal is to help you with your learning, so whatever I can do to help you, that's what I want to do. So in a typical week, this is what it's going to look like. You will have 2 to 3 assignments where you're going to study an ISTE standard. We'll go over that in just a little bit. A lot of times it's reading about it, understanding it, just kind of getting an idea of how technology is. Then you're going to have 2 to 3 assignments to apply what you've learned, whether it's a lesson plan, it's an activity that you create for whether it's your grade level or for something for the future that you can use possibly later on down the line with technology. And then we want to reflect on what we're learning. Now, there's sometimes you're going to create something, it's the first iteration, and it may not be the best thing, but at least it gives you an idea of what you could do. Trust me, as an educator, we go through many different versions of things, and sometimes the first one doesn't work, but at least gives you a starting point to kind of see how things go. First thing I want to talk about is SAMR. Because we're talking about technology, we're talking about integrating technology into education. Now, one of the things that we don't want to do is just substitute, say, a pencil with a keyboard. That really doesn't change much. Our goal is to get closer to modification and redefinition. Substitution is just replacing something with something else. Augmentation, there's a lot of tools that really help out, but don't do enough to really change the learning. It's when we get to the modification, where we're redefining tasks, redesigning things, doing it in different ways that couldn't be done before. And obviously we want to get to redefinition, where we create something that's never been used before that really gets to the heart of the learning. And those are the things that we're going to try to get to. But if you don't get to redefinition by the time we end this course and really see how you could use that, if you could see modification, that's going to be the biggest thing for our students. And that's what we want to work towards. ISTE standards. Because this course is talking about technology, there are standards out there, international standards, where we talk about how can we use technology to further our students' education, as well as helping us as educators reach those students better. So there's going to be 2 different types of standards. One for students, so that you can see what they're supposed to learn, but also as educators, what's our job in order to get them to that level. So we're going to be focusing on, during weeks 2 to 4, ISTE standards for students. How they can be empowered learners, digital citizens, knowledge constructors, innovative designers, computational thinkers, creative communicators, and global collaborators. We'll talk about different ways that we might be able to approach things and what technology tools might work for us. Doesn't mean that we'll have all the answers by the time we finish week 4, but at least you'll have an idea of how to integrate technology for a student. And then as an educator, we'll be looking at that through weeks 5 through 8. We'll be looking at how, as an educator, we can help people be learners. Even as a teacher, you're still a learner. I am still learning about things every single day, and sometimes I learn about new technologies and I want to apply them, so I become a learner. Being a leader in integrating technology. Digital citizen, as an educator, modeling that. Collaborating with other teachers. Designing stuff that maybe other people could use. Being a facilitator for your students, and maybe being an analyst and looking at data and what could we do with some of this stuff. And again, this is stuff that I do not expect you to be perfectly ready to go the moment we finish this course. It's something that takes a long time and maybe even a lifetime to learn. But the more you start doing it now, the more we start helping our students become 21st century learners. Now, there's going to be some frequently asked questions that I'm sure are going to come up as we go through this. We originally were supposed to meet in class, so sometimes the syllabus and the Blackboard may have a conflict. Follow Blackboard. I'm not going to post anything that, from the syllabus that isn't going to be on Blackboard. I'm not going to, try to trick you guys that way. That's not my job. If it's on Blackboard, that's going to be the assignment. Sometimes I may have to adapt weeks depending on what's happening. Maybe we need a little bit more time on a specific part. Maybe we want to expand what we're doing on something else. So follow Blackboard for all of your assignments. And if there's any discrepancy, reach out to me. Let me know, because if I make a mistake, I want you guys to let me know so I don't keep making the same mistakes. When it comes to late work, in this time, COVID right now, COVID has really shut down the University of Laverne. We can't meet in person. So if it comes to late work, if something happens, something's happening in your life that you can't get something done, please communicate with me. Whether through Slack, private email, whatever it takes, let me know. I want to help you out. I want you to learn, but you got to communicate with me. If you don't let me know and you just don't turn in stuff and you don't respond to communication, I may not be able to accept that late work, because that's your job as an adult, is to communicate with me. I will do my best to help you out. And if you need a little extra time, a couple extra days, no big deal. I can work with that, but you got to help me out. Do you have to work in a group? So one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be using Slack as a communication tool, which means you'll be doing some chats with people online. So your grade is dependent on how much you choose to chat, but if someone else doesn't, you're not going to lose out points, okay? You will have some group work where you might have to work with people, but I'm grading you based upon what you do. If someone slacks and doesn't do their job, they're the ones that get punished. I'm not going to punish you or your partners, if you're in a group, for anything like that. That's not what I want to do, okay? But part of education is working in teams and working with people, and sometimes you got people that work well together, and sometimes we do have people that just don't pull their weight. But your grade is not dependent on those that are not pulling their weight, okay? I'm hoping that everybody does everything fine so we don't have any issues, but just know you will be working with some people in groups, and we'll talk about that as we go through the weeks. So this is what you need to complete by next Sunday, February 6th, before midnight. Most of the stuff you can get done really, really quick. The first thing is the welcome survey. There's going to be a link, I'll show you that in just a second, that you need to complete. You need to join Slack. It's basically, you just go to slack.com. I'll show you that in a little bit, and type in your email address and kind of log in, and then you'll be there's a link on Blackboard where you can join the class, and that allows you to have access to all the things that we're going to do as they pop up throughout the weeks. You will also need to create a slide on a slide deck. There's a link for that also on Blackboard. I'll show you in just a second. Just take a little getting to know you. Shouldn't take too long, a couple pictures, just so that way we kind of know each other, because we are digitally, virtual right now. So you'll be able to see a little bit about me. I want to know a little bit about you, because we're not going to really be in person. I can't even give it any guarantees we'll be in person this entire term. Last thing, you'll be watching a couple of videos on ISTE, on the International Standards of Technology and Education. There are a couple videos, I think 2 videos to watch. Once you watch those, you'll answer some questions and you'll actually post your responses on Slack. So it's a way for you to kind of get used to Slack this first week. These are the only assignments that I'm going to have for you, and we're going to kind of go into them in depth in just a few minutes. So don't feel like you're going to have a lot of work this week. And I know I've already received an email about getting the book. Now, I will post the syllabus with the ISBN number. Make sure you get the book. I recommend Amazon because it goes quicker. If you want, that usually tends to work out best for me. It's also cost effective, but you won't need it this week. So if you don't have it yet, no worries. Just make sure you order it and you get it. So our page is kind of set up like this in Blackboard. You'll see the home page where you'll see announcements and everything like that. And I will post announcements each week or as they come up. The biggest thing that you want to look for is the content. Okay. The content right here is where you're going to do all of your work. Okay. Each week I will post new content. Okay. So for example, in the content, I have the week 1. It's kind of the overview of the class. It's a folder view. You'll click on that in order to access all of the assignments or at least the tasks that you need to do. A lot of times you may not be posting stuff to Blackboard. I know in some classes that's how you submit assignments. A lot of our assignments may be on Slack or something Google, or we're doing a demonstration to where you may not post on Blackboard for it, but I will still give you grades for everything. So for the week 1, if you clicked on that, you'll see welcome to week 1. It'll tell you all the assignments that you have to get done before the end of the week. Okay. And again, if you get them done at the end of the week, that's fine. If you get them done early in the week, that's fine. Some stuff you will have to do with people, so you might have to schedule a time with that. But for the most part, it gives you plenty of time to work on it, and I want to make sure you know exactly what you're doing. So your first one is to complete the entry survey. You will see that right here. There's a link. Okay. So make sure you go to that welcome survey. There's questions to answer. It's really kind of a way for me to understand where you're at technologically, also where you're at in terms of your education, to help me kind of guide. And if I have to make modifications to the course, it really will help me out. The second part is to join Slack. So that's the second assignment. Okay. So what I would do is go to slack.com. It'll ask you to sign up. Use your Laverne email address, and then when you finish that, come back here and go to this right here, the Join Our Slack page. Okay, that way, once you're logged in, you click on that, and it allows you to access all the stuff for the class that we will do there, and allows you to communicate with me at any point. There's a video here for you to watch if you want to kind of get you an idea. Again, I will have Slack on my phone, and I also have it as a desktop. So anytime you communicate that way, I can see it, whether you communicate with me privately or as part of the groups. So make sure you do that. You can use the desktop version or a mobile version. Either way works for me. But make sure you do that because you can always ask questions that way. Also, when we start looking at the book and doing kind of what we call a book club, that way you're able to use it. And that's going to be the preferred means of that. Plan on using Slack most weeks for about 30 minutes. And you guys will set up a time when we set up groups later on down the line to where you will post your messages. And it's nice because instead of like discussion boards on Blackboard where you post something and then you got to wait for someone to respond, you'll set up times where you guys are chatting with each other automatically. And it'll be real time. Kind of like a text message, but just real-time chatting within a group. And it's not any video, so you don't have to worry about how you look or whether you're pajamas or your kids are running around. It's just text messaging. It allows you to communicate with each other, and we'll be communicating on questions or regarding the readings in the book. So it's another way of doing it to not where you have to wait for people to respond. You will set up a time where you guys will do it, and then you'll be done. And then I will go through Slack and check and make sure everyone's responded and be able to give you your points. Okay. The third assignment is the Getting to Know You slides. Okay, again, click on the link there. Biggest thing, you want to put the background any color of your choice. Put your name on it. That's the only text that I want to see. Picture something you like or love that might surprise your classmates. Picture of a TV series you're interested in, movie, book, songs. There's a few things that I want you to put on there. Be creative, It's a way for me to get to know you in pictures rather than because we're not really, seeing each other all the time. Okay. But it's something just to kind of get to know you. And I've already put mine on there so you can kind of know who I am because obviously this is all you see. So any way that I can kind of show you my personality, I want to do that. The last thing is the getting to know the ISTE standards, ISTE. So there are 2 videos to watch. One of them is 1:30 and the other one's 2 minutes and 16 seconds. You want to watch those videos. You might want to take a couple notes, and you want to answer in Slack in the hashtag #GetToKnowISTE. And once you enter into the course, the Slack homepage, you'll see that hashtag there. That's where you will answer these 2 questions. How are ISTE standards different than content or subject standards? You know, when you're an English teacher or a math teacher like I am, we have math standards. ISTE standards are different. Now, they can align with content standards, but what's the difference? So you definitely want to see that. And then, why would it be important for teachers to learn about the ISTE standards? You know, why is it important? So you definitely want to go into that and answer those. Doesn't have to be long, but just as long as I can see that you're responding and you've watched the videos, and as long as you do all 4 of those things, you'll be all set for this week. Now, if you do have any questions, you run into any technical issues, please reach out to me. If I can help you in any way, shape, or form, I will do my best. There are 2 email addresses that you can reach me at. The Laverne email address, always can reach me at no matter what. I get that on my phone. I also have my school email address for high school. I also get that on my phone. Because I'm at school quite a bit, sometimes I can respond a lot quicker that way than looking on my phone. Because, you know, if I'm teaching, it's kind of tough. Or you can send me a message on Slack. That allows me to, you know, answer on my phone. But again, you have to please give me a little bit to respond, especially if I'm in the middle of class. But I will make sure to respond to anybody that sends me a message or an email. I want to help you guys out. I am looking forward to this course. I'm looking forward to being your professor, and I hope that we all learn a lot during these quick 8 weeks. So if you do have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday at 5 p.m., at least for our first initial meeting, so we can kind of get to know each other and make sure that we understand what to do. I'll see you later.